Welcome to the Coach's Corner. We're here at the Silver Lake Tap House where they have great food and, of course, great beer. I'm Brenda Vasquez along with Eli Bacon again. So, Eli, you went to the games this past weekend, right?
Yes. So
how was it?
It was awesome. The women, it was a close game, but they fell short, and the men's came out on top. It was a really good game.
Nice. And who do we have on the show?
Today, it's an all-hoops edition of the Coach's Corner. We're first going to have head coach Tanya Haave, whose team is right in the hunt for a playoff spot. The men's coach, Michael Bahl, will come on to tell us how his team came away with 2 wins this past weekend. And we'll get to know Tom Garrett from the men's team. He's in his first season with the Roadrunners, so it'll be nice to see how he's made it to Denver all the way from Australia.
Looks like we can't get enough of basketball, huh?
Yeah.
So before we bring on Coach Haave, we're going to catch you guys up on what happened this past weekend in Roadrunner sports. The women's basketball team welcomed in Dixie State to the Auraria Event Center on Friday night. Junior Mariah Schrader led the way, scoring 15 points for the red and blue. She also added 2 rebounds and 2 steals. But the Trailblazers were too much to handle as Maddie Loftus and Chesney Stevens combined for 33 points to take the victory. The Roadrunners also fell to Westminster the following night.
The men's team also battled Dixie State at home on Friday evening. The Trailblazers came in as the 19th ranked team in the nation. Dixie held a double-digit lead in the second half, but then the Roadrunners' offense came alive. Mitch Lombard hit a couple of big shots, and Kendall McIntosh came up big on the defensive side, blocking a few shots late. Coach Ball's squad would upset the Blazers by a final of 60-57. MSU Denver kept the good times rolling the following night, taking down Westminster 70-64.
The indoor track and field team was back in action this past weekend, competing in the POTS Invitational in Boulder. Senior Nick Polite led the way, breaking his personal mark in the 60-meter dash, crossing the line in a time of 6.97 seconds. He finished 4th overall. The 4x400 relay team also finished 4th, clocking in at 3 minutes and 22.83 seconds. On the women's side, Sabrina Rauter posted a personal best of 5 minutes and 15 seconds in the mile. We now welcome in Tanya Haave, who is our basketball coach. How are you doing today? Thanks for coming here today.
Oh, I'm doing great. How about you guys?
I'm good.
Great.
Good.
How's your
Always
holiday
great to be
break?
here. The holiday break was great.
It wasn't really a break, was it?
Well, we got about a week, a little
Yeah.
over a week, so I got to go skiing for the first time in 14 years. I grew up skiing. I
Nice.
haven't done much, so it was nice
I
to
bet you were really sore after.
snowshoe. Surprisingly not.
No?
I thought I would be, but I didn't ski real hard either.
Oh,
I did a
okay.
half day, so full disclosure here.
Yeah. So before we get into this weekend, can you give us your thoughts about your first weekend back from break? You split your series with Fort Lewis and then Adams State on the road.
Yeah, it's always good to split on the road. However, I felt like against Fort Lewis, we gave a game away in that we were winning most of the game. And we got to a point, we got a big lead, and then we gave it back, and we started playing a little tentatively, kind of playing not to lose instead of playing to win. So it was a little disappointing because Fort Lewis is doing really well in conference. It would have been a huge win for us. But we didn't give up, and we've still been very resilient, persistent. It was very important that we bounced back the next night, and we did. And so you always want to get those splits on the road.
That's
so I was
good.
really happy for that.
You always learn something from the game that you played before.
Absolutely.
For the
You're always learning. I learn
Yeah.
every day, even in practice.
Yes.
So getting into this past weekend, you took on Dixie State at home on Friday. You held the lead after the first quarter, but your squad had quite the shooting slump in that second and third quarter. Was it something Dixie was doing on the defensive side of things?
Well, you have to give them some credit. They're defending for sure. I just think it was more of us not being really focused and not being aggressive enough to take some shots. So we need to work on that. Our first and fourth quarters were great. Second and third, I think after a couple of shots, we were 1 of 17 in the third quarter. And that was basically the ball game. And I feel like that's a game that we should have won on our home floor. So it was disappointing, but again, like you said earlier, you're always learning something from every game, and this is a big journey for us to with a brand new team and on every level, to just keep learning and keep progressing. And sometimes that learning involves some struggles. No one likes it, so we just have to go through the struggles.
Yes. So during a slump, how are you trying to get your team back on track? Are you trying things different on offense, or are you just letting them go out and try to shoot their way back?
Well, I think especially shooters have to kind of shoot their ways out of slumps, but we definitely try different things. I think the biggest thing with this group is to keep them positive, is that, hey, still believe in you, believe in yourselves. We've got to go through rough times.
Yeah.
Every team goes through some adversity during the season. So to keep them motivated and stay positive. So I think that's the thing that our coaching staff has done. And I think the players have responded really well to that, and also to themselves being positive with each other.
Your team got within striking distance late. Ashley Bernalis hit a couple of late three-pointers to help out. Was the deficit too large at this point, and was it a little too late?
It was too big. It was too big. There was a couple times where we had a chance and then we couldn't get stops. It seems like we need to get key stops and we need to be able to score, and that's what we weren't able to do on each night, get key scores or get key stops. So that's one thing that we definitely will be focusing on this week, because we're going back on the road.
So Eli mentioned Ashley. She's brand new to the team. She's from California as well?
Yes, she's from San Marcos.
Oh, San Marcos.
So my assistant, Alexa Hardick, found her and said, hey, saw her playing in the summer, San Diego Soul. And I went out to watch her play, and she came out for a visit, and it's just been great. I mean, she's going through the normal freshman struggles of getting used to the level, but she came in and did a great job. She just did her job. She's a catch and shooter, ran the plays, and just did fantastic. So that earned her a little bit more opportunity.
What have you seen from her?
Offensively, she's got great instincts. Really, really good instincts, and she can shoot the ball really well. It's a different looking shot, but it goes in. So she's probably our best catch and shooter. The issue with her is just getting her to understand the defense and the intensity of the game. So she's slowly getting that, but she's going to do very well in our program.
Yeah, she has more years to go, so.
Got a lot of time left.
Yeah.
Got a lot of time left.
So it was on to Saturday night to battle Westminster. The Griffins came in ranked 19th in the nation. You said you liked the way your squad approached this game and that they had a good mindset going in. What was that urgency from your squad to play better after falling the previous night?
I think it was to play more sense of urgency, but also a little bit more emotion and more together. We talked about physical, mental, and emotional effort, and I defined each one of those. Physical effort's pretty easy, but the mental effort of remembering your plays, remembering the scout team defense, and then the emotional effort of being selfless. And they really took that to heart. So it was really, you go into a game, you want the old Nick Saban adage of trust the process, but really need to do that is stay in the moment, be selfless, do everything you can to help the team win. We did, and that was definitely a case of Westminster making key shots and us not getting key stops, and then us not being able to get key baskets or score at key moments, especially in the fourth quarter down the stretch.
And you played the Griffins tough until the end. So what do you think made the difference down the stretch that gave the Westminster the win?
Just that they were able to execute their offense, and we couldn't get stops, and then we couldn't execute our offense and get some scores.
So after a tough weekend like this, what are some things you said to your squad after to keep them focused, knowing that you'll be back on the court this weekend?
Well, we had a really great practice this morning, and what we really focused on was, again, the process in staying together and the attitude. So I thought Jaden Galloway and Maggie Justinak, especially on Saturday night, really changed their mindset, changed their attitude, and had great games. And so we talked about that you can control your attitude. We can control our attitude. We can control our work ethic, and that's what we really focused on, and along with staying selfless.
Yeah.
And we just got to keep banging against the wall, keep banging against the wall, keep pushing through until we push through and get through the wall.
So there's still plenty of season to go, and if you look at the RMAC standings, you're just one game out of the RMAC playoffs. You have to feel pretty good about this point, right?
Absolutely. I mean, even though we're going on the road for 4 games, there are winnable games for us, and it's not tremendously hard road trips. And then we get 4 home games, and then we're playing our side of the conference, and the other side of the conference is looking to be a little bit tougher. So those teams on the other side, like Fort Lewis, Mesa, Western, Westminster, Dixie, they have to play each other twice. We're done with that side. So I think the schedule favors us, and we just keep focusing on getting better and really busting through that wall. I'm going to keep saying we got to bust through that wall, and then we got to keep the faith.
Of course.
We got to keep believing.
Yes, that's the main thing too.
We do.
Yes.
We do.
So, Coach, it was a pleasure to have you here.
It was great.
We wish you the
Thank
best.
you so much.
Yeah.
Good questions.
We wish you the best of luck on the road.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So before we take the first break, we're going to tell you guys the tweet of the week. It comes from our women's softball team at Roadrunners SB. A couple of sergeants from the Air Force Academy came down and hung out with our softball team last Saturday. They worked on key life skills such as fitness and leadership, while our softball team is always fighting that battle on the field. Sometimes it's those battles off the field that can use some help. So a big shout out to the Air Force Academy for taking the mind and sharing their knowledge with our Roadrunners. So now it is time for that break. We're coming right back with men's basketball here at the Coach Corner.
MSU Denver basketball returns to Channel 20. The Roadrunners take on the Westminster Griffins at 7 p.m. on Saturday. Get tickets at roadrunnersathletics.com/tickets or catch all of the action on Channel 20. Roadrunners basketball. Get rowdy.
Hey, Bree Wellington, senior from women's basketball.
Down the floor, Wellington, all alone, got it.
And you're watching Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Welcome back, but before we talk to Coach Bahl, we wanted to remind you of your next big event that you could be taking place right here at the Tivoli Tap House. Whether you have the next big meeting coming up or you just want to plan a big get-together with coworkers or friends, you can do so right here at the Tivoli Tap House. You have the great view of downtown Denver, and you have a great selection of beers and wine that are made right here on site. So visit TivoliBrewingCo.com for more information on how you can schedule your next big event right here in the middle of downtown Denver. To men's basketball head coach Michael Bahl. How are you doing?
Good, guys. How are you?
Thanks for being here.
No, thanks for having me.
Of course. So before we talk about this past weekend, we want to talk about your first weekend back from break. Didn't pan out the way you wanted. How was practice for your squad hanging into last weekend?
I thought it was really good. I thought the energy was a lot better. Anytime you come off a break, it's always tough. You sort of know what you're going to get. And, I actually thought we had some pretty good practices leading up to the road trip. And just for whatever reason, it just didn't really work out for us. But I thought, our attention to detail was better this coming week. And obviously we got some better results.
You told our Eric Lansing that the halftime score against Dixie State, which was 31-24, was the same halftime score against your game with Fort Lewis. Did you mention that to your team during the break, or what was that message?
Yeah, we mentioned it to him because I think it's you're always trying to improve. You're always trying to get better. It's more to tell the guys that, hey, we've been in this situation before. It's a 40-minute game. Nothing happens in the first half in terms of the game's not over after the first 20 minutes. We just want to stay the course, and I thought our guys did a great job of realizing that, hey, 7 points is not that many points. It's a couple possessions. It's one stop away, and just try to keep that mentality and sort of learn from our mistakes the previous weekend, which I thought we did, which was really good to see.
So Dixie held a double-digit lead in the second half at 1 point. So what changed or what clicked for your squad to make a comeback?
I think our guys just did a great job, and it was on the defensive side. We got to stop, and then all of a sudden our defense led to some couple good possessions offensively, and we sort of continued to feed off that. But everything we do sort of starts on the defensive side, and I thought our guys did a phenomenal job of just staying together and especially handling adversity and coming through and saying, we can get this done on the defensive side. So I was really proud of them.
Your squad pulls off that 60-57 win. What was the locker room after? What was the atmosphere in the locker room after the game? Such a close game. And then what were some of the things you told them after beating the 19th ranked team?
No, I thought obviously was excited. I think anytime you win, I don't care who you're playing, whether it's 19th ranked team in the country or a team who hasn't won before, anytime you can get a win, it's always a good thing. And it's just a positive reinforcement for our guys. But honestly, we don't preach winning and losing a whole ton. It's more about doing the right things and how did we get the result we wanted to. And a lot of times they say it's not the game you win that night, it's the next night. We wanted to validate it. We wanted to come back and say, you know what, it wasn't a fluke. We are a really good team, which we are. We wanted to validate the next night versus Westminster. So, our guys were excited, and we moved on pretty quick because we obviously played the next day, and I thought our guys did a great job of making sure they're ready to go.
Yeah, like you said, you played Westminster the following night. They came in and averaged 74 points per game, but you held them at just 64. In fact, your opponents averaged just 60 points per game. On the weekend, what was it about your defense in these two games that spurred the victories?
Defense is probably one of the most unselfish things you can do, because there's not really a whole bunch of glamour or limelights on it. And I think we just have, all 13 of our players are really just bought into that side. When we have success, it's typically because of our defense, and our offense trickles off that. And I think when we've struggled this year, it's because we lacked that commitment to the defensive side. So I think I got to give credit to the seniors. Kane Van Heinigen was a huge one. We threw him in the starting lineup this week, and that had tremendous impact on us right away. And I think it was just more of a conscious effort to say, you know what, we are the best defensive team in the conference, and this is what we're going to hang our hat on, and offense will take care of itself.
Elijah Strauder had a big second half for your team. He even had that steal and that dunk that was just icing on the cake, which sealed the deal. He's only a sophomore, but do you like how his game is evolving?
I think he's progressing. I think people, when you come watch us play, whether you know anything about basketball or not, you can sort of just appreciate what he does. He's a blue-collar kid, and the things that he does is not glamorous. It's all the little things, and I think the more he progresses, the more he plays. His offensive game's coming, which I think it's coming. You'll see over the past couple of weeks. We're super excited to have him, and his teammates love him. He's a great kid, and we're just very blessed to have him here.
Yeah. So not only did you beat a national ranked team, but you beat a team that previously had your number in Westminster. So is there confidence bringing in the squad after a great weekend?
I think so. I think anytime you can, validate and sort of positive reinforcement on the things we're teaching, and the guys continue to see results because of that, I think that's the quickest way to get your culture to be bought in. And hopefully, it trickles over to this week in practice, tomorrow's practice, Wednesday's practice, Thursday's practice, because we definitely have a tough road trip ahead of us.
You were joking in that other interview that you wish you had all your games at home. You guys are now 8-1 at the event center. What is it about being at the home floor that breeds success?
I think it's just it's one of those things. I saw a stat on ESPN where in college basketball right now, Division I, the home team wins 75% of the time. So it's just really, really hard for teams to come into anybody's place. We practice there all the time. Majority of our stuff's done here. There's a comfortability about it. But I also think with how we're playing, it transfers over to the road.
Yeah.
We're not going to come on the road and outscore people. We're going to have to get stops, and that's typically who we are as a defensive team. So hopefully, this builds confidence into us to head into the road trip when we go down to play CSU Pueblo on Friday, and we see the result that we want.
Well, Coach, it's time for Roadrunners trivia.
I'm pretty sure I should be in first place, but I think
you're
for
tied
some reason,
with 3 opponents.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you get these 2 points, you're gonna put yourself into the top 4.
I like it. Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. It's a multiple choice question, so it should be a little easier. Your squad had 12 total blocks in 2 games this past weekend, so that made us look into the archives and ask, what is the program record for blocks in 1 game by the team? Is it A, 8? Is it B, 12? Or is it C, 25?
Oh, man, it's got to be B, 12.
Yes, you are right.
Good.
You're taking the lead now.
It's happened 3 times in program history, so.
Okay, that's good to know.
Here's another bonus question. Sticking with blocks, what is the number for most blocks in 1 game by an individual?
Oh, man. I'm going to say it is 7.
Oh, you were close.
Close, so we'll give you the point.
I get it? All right.
You're in the top 4.
What was it, though?
The answer is 8 by Ben Ortner, who blocked 8 shots versus Fort Hayes in 2005.
Yeah, I was a sophomore that year. Yeah.
So
and Ben Ortner was actually Defensive Player of the Year in all the RMAC that year. So I'm not surprised that he did that.
Well, Coach.
We'll give you another point.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, thank you. See, I give a little backstory. I get more points.
Really?
I like this.
3 points?
I like this. All right.
Good job. So thanks for coming coming out here with us tonight. It was always a pleasure to have you, and we wish you the best.
Thank you guys so much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome. So we got to step away one more time, but stay close because we're going to keep talking about men's basketball here on the Coach's Corner.
Let's go.
Watch out and in! The Roadrunners have responded.
Kendall McIntosh throwing it down. Be sure to download the Roadrunner Rewards app and check in at events to earn points toward great prizes. The more events you attend, the more points you earn, and the better the prizes you win. Download the Roadrunner Rewards app to start earning points today.
Hi, I'm Tanya Haave. I'm a senior from the women's basketball team. And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Let's try that again. And you're watching the... Okay, one more time. And you're watching the Coach's Corner. Get rowdy.
Glad you're back with us. We now welcome in Tom Garrett from the men's basketball team. Tom, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So your team came away with 2 big wins this weekend. How is the team feeling, and what does it do for their confidence, do you think?
Well, we're obviously feeling pretty good. I mean, it's the best outcome you could have got. But, yeah, it's definitely a confidence boost. We've had a few road losses recently, and, yeah, to come away with a couple wins is really good for us.
Your squad is 8-1 at home this season. What is it about playing at the event center that helps you guys take your game to the next level?
Oh, rowdy for sure. Yeah, the mascot all the way.
What is your mascot?
He's a roadrunner, I think.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure that he knew. So this is your first season playing at the Division II level.
Yeah.
What has been the most difficult thing about playing at this level, or what are some key lessons that you've learned?
I don't know. I mean, it's a lot faster than back home.
Yeah.
When I played in Australia, it's a lot quicker, I suppose. But, yeah, just adjusting to, I don't know, different players and different personality types over here in America has been a big adjustment, I suppose.
What have you learned?
What have I learned?
From coach or your teammates, the game?
Well, don't run too hard early when you're in the altitude, or else you blow up.
Yourself. Yeah.
You hail all the way from Frankston, Australia. Can you tell us a little bit how you ended up in Colorado?
Yeah. So my head coach at my club back home used to actually play here. His name's Andrew Harms. I think he played in 2004 or something, and he knew he played with Coach Bahl. So yeah, handy little phone call, and put in a good word for me. Got me over here.
Can you tell us a little bit of what you're studying, or what do you plan to do after you graduate?
Well, at the moment, I'm majoring in international business, but I don't know. I might change that along the way. Yeah. But my overall goal is to hopefully play pro afterwards.
Nice. Good luck with. Well, good luck. Just keep working hard, and you'll get there.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Would you like to stay in the States, or do you want to go back to Australia?
I'd love to just go wherever. I'd love to travel the world.
Yeah, just anywhere.
Do what I can.
Nice.
You grew up with 3 brothers, Nick, James, and Jack. Are they also into sports? And what was it like playing with 3 other brothers?
Yeah, so my 2 older ones, Nick and James, they're more into Australian footy, Australian football. So I definitely grew up playing with them, more of a rough and tumble type of game. And then my little brother Jack, he's only 7 at the moment, but I'm trying to get a basketball into his hands as much as I can.
So you have an uncle who played in the NBA and in the Australian NBL. Did you look up to him during his career, or did he teach you anything?
Yeah, absolutely. He was always the talk of family dinners. Yeah, I definitely look up to him. He was, he really showed how it's possible for an Australian to make it internationally as a basketball player.
Of course.
For me, yeah.
What are some of your goals that you have set for yourself as you finish your freshman season?
I mean, at the moment, I'm just trying to work hard every day. I'm trying to compete to best I can in practice, and then, you know, when my opportunity comes, I'll do my best.
So tell us a little bit about you. What kind of person? I don't know, like, are you funny? Are you quiet? Are you?
You know, I think I'm a bit of everything. I try to do, you know, try to fit into the scene whenever I can. But no, pretty easygoing guy, I think.
Did you ever try playing soccer, like your brothers at one point?
Yeah, Australian football. So it's not actually soccer. It's,
what is it?
Yeah, it's Australian football. That's what it is. AFL, if you ever heard of it. It's a different sport. Not a lot of people know about it. But
Okay, I thought you meant like footy as in like soccer or something.
no, well, I played soccer as a young age, but no, I was more into Australian football. It's I don't know. It's hard to explain, to be honest, but you imagine now there's a kicker in NFL. Well, imagine 18 guys who are kickers just trying to pass the ball around.
Okay.
So we talked to Coach Bahl earlier. How has Coach Bahl helped you so far in your collegiate career?
Well, he really helped me settle in to Denver and just America in general. But he's told me, you know, just to keep my head up and really try to just help me with confidence along the way of getting used to things over here.
What would you say is one of your biggest goals this season, or because you still have time? So
I do. One of my biggest goals this season, I'd like to make a field goal one day. How's that sound? Yeah, a field goal. I'll get on one day and I'll make a field goal and I'll talk. You know, I'll refer back to you guys.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that kind of stands out, like teammate-wise, that has shown you around Denver or given you any advice that you would like to pass down on to us?
Any advice for you?
Or like most helpful teammate that you have on the team?
Most helpful teammate. I'd say the big fella Kane. You know, he loves to get around me. You know, support. He's always down for a chat. But yeah, no, all the guys really. They're all pretty friendly. Yeah.
Good. So Tom, thanks for coming onto the show, and we wish you the best the rest of the season.
Thank you. Cheers.
So before we call it a show, let's tell you what's ahead this week in Roadrunners. As we mentioned, our basketball teams will hit the road to continue conference play this weekend. They'll first head to Pueblo to take on the Thunder Wolves this Friday night. The women will tip off at 5:30, the men at 7:30. Then it's the long journey to Las Vegas, New Mexico to face off against New Mexico Highlands. Those games are scheduled for 5 p.m. for the women and 7 for the men. Follow both squads and find the video links at roadrunnersathletics.com.
Our indoor track and field team will head to Chadron, Nebraska to compete in the Chadron State Open on Saturday. The men's tennis team will hit the court this weekend. They'll first head to Colorado Springs on Friday to take on the Air Force Academy at 6 p.m. Then on Saturday, they'll stay in the Springs and battle Southern Utah at 3 p.m.
And we want to give a big shout out to this week's Student Athlete of the Week, and it comes from men's basketball at Mitch Lombard. Gets the big award. The senior was huge in helping the squad win both games at home this past weekend. Mitch tallied 27 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists, and 2 steals in the 2 games. He also matched the season high with 18 points against Dixie State on Friday. Great job, Mitch. So we'll put in another show in the books. We want to thank Coach Haave, Coach Bahl, and of course Tom for being here in the show. And for Eli Bacon, I'm Brenda Vasquez here at the Coach's Corner.